An entitled Karen demanded my coat when I delivered donations to her home after a fire. However, after she falsely reported me to my nonprofit organization, her life was ruined. I'm part of a local donation group, so from time to time, I'm asked to help with clothing donations. When someone passes away or moves to a smaller place, I assist in washing, folding, sorting, and delivering clothes to various free stores. Occasionally, if we're informed about someone in the community who needs help, we deliver essential items like winter clothing or children's clothes directly to their homes. We are just a community group with no religious, political, or hidden agenda. Our sole purpose is to distribute surplus items within the community as needed, doing so as discreetly as possible to offer aid. This particular situation completely blew my mind, and I'm still trying to grasp how it escalated so quickly. A few days ago, there was a fire in our community that left 3 families displaced. We gathered what we could in the sizes they needed and went to deliver them. We don't ask for anything in return, other than knowing the families are a little better off. We always apologize and explain that the styles might not be what they're used to since it's donated clothing, but it's at least clean and warm. If they had specific needs, they could tell a group member, and we would do what we could to help. Many of the collected items belonged to other families whose children had outgrown those sizes. It's an anonymous process, a way for more affluent members of the community to help others within the community. This is one of the things I love about my community. People don't hesitate to help where needed. I was given an address and set out as usual. I arrived, grabbed the bags and coats, took them to the door, and knocked. After that, I don't know what to think. It started like any other delivery. There was a mother and 3 children, so I explained that there were 3 bags of clothes in the indicated sizes and a box of age-appropriate toys. Just like with the other families, I thought I had misheard when she said she preferred my coat, and I just said, "What?" She called me rude and repeated herself. "These items are fine, but I want the coat you're wearing." When I told her, "No, I'm sorry, but I just bought this coat," she got angry and accused me of rummaging through donation bags to keep the good stuff for myself. Nothing like this had ever happened to me before. None of our group members are wealthy. In fact, that's why we do what we do, because life is tough here, and we believe in sharing what we have as a community. We collect good quality items from those who have extra and distribute them for free to those in need or with specific requirements. Sometimes, we all take things from our own closets that are needed more elsewhere. Last year, we raised funds to help purchase a wheelchair-accessible vehicle for a family. The year before that, it was for a young family whose matriarch was diagnosed with terminal cancer. This year's cause is to build 4 tiny homes for homeless individuals in our community for them to use as needed. Our goal is to provide stability so they can successfully reintegrate during and after addiction rehabilitation. In short, we all do what we can to help. It's a tough world to feel alone in. Now, my coat is expensive, $250, but I had also been saving gift cards for 2 years and anxiously watching end-of-season sales. I finally plucked up the courage and bought it at a 75% discount. Perhaps I messed up by wearing it for this errand, I don't know. After I said no for the second time, stating that the coat was mine, she started screaming at me. I simply left the bags on the doorstep and drove away. Today, I woke up to an avalanche of messages from the group asking me to explain why I refused to give the mother winter coats and why I left everything at the end of the driveway, allegedly in a ditch. They weren't asking. Most messages were outright accusatory. Some were simply bordering on cruel. It's the kind of day that makes me feel like giving up on trying to make the world a better place. I've been in these families' shoes, and people helped me this way. I know what it feels like to depend on others, so I try to be compassionate and understanding without being condescending or pitying. I usually don't talk about what I do, because nobody needs to know what came from where or who receives what. It's simply giving back what I received. I do this because it was done for me, and because it's the right thing to do. It's that simple. But after today, I don't even want to respond to anyone. It's not just that woman, it's the messages that are getting quite nasty at this point. It's people talking about me behind my back. It's how quickly they assumed I must have done that. I don't know if I want to continue this after all. I've been doing this for 5 years and have never had a complaint. I feel betrayed by people I thought were my friends. Everything feels disgusting, dramatic, and depressing now, and that's not how this is supposed to feel. Edition 1. For those who asked, 1 out of 5 messages are asking if I'm okay and what happened. The rest seem to believe I did this. In such a small community, the truth eventually comes out. It always does. The question now is whether I want to be involved with people like this. I don't think I can trust them after this. Addition 2. To clarify something, we needed a board meeting in this case as we are partially federally funded. Well, the community food pantry is. In any case, it's a requirement, unfortunately. Update 1. As suggested, I sent a bullet point text to the group stating only facts. Apologies for the formatting, I copied it exactly from the message. Items were brought to the main door as usual. The beneficiary requested my personal attire. The beneficiary accused me of stealing from the donation bags. The beneficiary verbally abused me. I left the following at the beneficiary's door: half a bag of women's clothes, sizes M and L, 1.5 bags of children's clothes, sizes 3 and 8, 1 miscellaneous bag with bedding and towels, and 1 miscellaneous box of children's toys and books. I'm trying my hardest to understand the context of some of the messages I've received about this, and I'm honestly confused as to why anyone would think I would deliberately degrade a beneficiary. You all know my history and the reasons I participate. As I feel I no longer have a trusted place within our group, I formally submit my resignation from my duties within the committee and the group. With your blessing, I will remain on the helping tree as a contact. So far, the responses are very interesting. They range from apologies to accusations and narcissism. The most interesting one so far, I think, was one not intended for me. It insinuated that this was for the best. I can't believe how naive I've been. An emergency meeting is scheduled for next week because apparently it's not allowed to resign mid-term from such a board without a valid reason. Luckily, I think I have one. The good thing about this is that my accuser also has to give an official statement in the meeting minutes because I resigned, which I can attend and comment on, adding validity to my reasons for resigning. Would it be petty if I wore my coat again, or should I choose an older one? I'm asking seriously. I don't want to make things worse. I just want to get out and do my own thing. Rumors are already starting and seem to be in my favor. Small towns are great or terrible for that. And I just received a message asking me to withdraw my resignation for fear that this could cause an irreparable rift in our charity group. I have 8 months left of my current term as secretary, a position that requires the trust of board members to record accurate notes, and I no longer feel I have it. I don't want my character to be unfairly questioned again after I've worked so hard to build it. My resignation was intended to avoid drama and division, but it's doing the opposite. What would you do? I feel like I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't. Addition 1. With a formal board, there are steps to follow to remove a core board member: president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, committee heads. Or so I'm being told. It might be a tactic to buy time. I'm reviewing the current bylaws and policies, but the fine print is small and hard to read. I'm surprised and moved by how many beneficiaries are defending me, but I think this is what's causing a lot of drama and mistrust both within the organization and among those who use it. What exactly was I trying to avoid by quietly resigning? It just sucks, for lack of a better word. I feel like the religious folks are wrong. It's not judge not, lest ye be judged. It's that these days you just get judged. Addition 2. Thanks again. You reminded me about my dash cam. I'm going to check it and be right back. There's no audio. There isn't a clear aha moment, but it shows enough. It shows me arriving and that there's nothing on the porch. It shows the car moving slightly as I take out the bags, and it does show a bag being placed on the porch, plus at least 2 snow coats. When I back up, almost the entire porch is visible. She is seen outside, but the definition isn't good enough to see her face or what she's doing. I'm also not sure what evidence, if any, my accusers, the beneficiary and those who hate me, have presented. The beneficiary, I was told, has already been removed from the Helping Trees Community Pantry Registry. In fact, I'm starting to get furious. That woman may be a mess, but she has 3 children under her care who deserve to eat and be clothed. This is going too far. Update 2. The ungrateful beneficiary is the ex-sister-in-law of board president Olivia. And yes, they are still friends. That's how small towns are. I can't wait for next week. Addition 1. I'm trying to figure out how to distance myself while still acknowledging what's happening without harming the board. They do good, necessary work. I can't destroy that, no matter how I feel. And that's the problem. I think I'll request an official board investigation, which is within my rights according to our bylaws. before I leave. It's beyond me that someone would do this for reputation or to make a name for themselves. At least I hope not. But if the investigation concludes that this was planned, who the hell does something like that? I would have grounds to have board president Olivia removed. It's not out of spite. I don't want this to happen to another person, but you're right. Something smells fishy here, and it's getting worse every day. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to submit a statement to the board with my dashcam video, which clearly shows at least one bag on the porch. I also just learned that 3 other bags were left for the woman, including winter gear. I think it's a damage control attempt, but I also think they're moving in the wrong direction. From what I'm hearing from many, if she tries to sell the surplus, as many seem to think she will, this is going to blow up much faster. In any case, ironically, at this point, I'm the least interested in all this around here. I admit that looking back, it's strange that I was assigned to this beneficiary when other people were closer. I thought maybe it was due to schedule conflicts, but I'm seeing that wasn't the case either. Curiously, rumors are circulating that this was a setup. I'm trying not to pay attention to unsubstantiated rumors, but I'm starting to wonder. I hate this with all my soul. Everything seems so stupidly unnecessary. I'm still very confused. The meeting is scheduled for Wednesday night, 2 days from now. I still haven't decided if I'm going to go. I don't want this drama to derail something that has been good until now. I might just submit my statement, my resignation, and leave it at that. Popular opinion is on my side, so why make it worse? Addition 2. You are geniuses. After reading your comments, I started thinking about other groups this woman might have been part of in her previous location. Well. Now I have 4 witnesses to past behavior willing to come with me on Wednesday, from 3 groups that have been equally harmed by this woman. The question is, do I want to take it that far? Yes and no. I feel like this has consumed far too much valuable time and is taking focus away from the group's original purpose. Plus, most of the board is asking me to put my name forward for board president for the next term. So, they're supporting me now. Still, I don't trust any of them to have my back if something happens. And if I replace this president, everything will go to hell. It has only been an official group with a board of directors for about 4 months, but we've been doing this for 5 years as a project of mine and board president Olivia's, which gained quite a bit of traction, volunteers, and funding over time. They really need established policies, even if it's just to protect the clients who use the service. But as a new board, we are all learning as we go, how things officially work, and all the bureaucracy. The only person I thought I could count on is precisely the one who now insists that this happened exactly as the beneficiary described it. Addition 3. I don't think I need to bring the receipt. Everyone knows when I bought the coat and how much I paid for it. I'm being told that 2 board members, President Olivia and Treasurer Sarah, seem to think I'm overreacting and that I should just accept the reprimand maturely. When I go on Wednesday, I'm just going to tell them simply that I feel I no longer have the trust required for my assigned position and that I respectfully resign to avoid further drama, hand in my official resignation, and leave. I also discovered that the emergency meeting is to consider 3 resignations, not just mine. And no, I will not be so petty as to call Child Protective Services for the children. Firstly, it would be a false claim because there are no grounds to believe they are being abused. Secondly, I'm not going to drag them into this. If I've been thinking about creating an alternative group for the more rural areas that don't fall within the community limits, this might just be divine intervention in disguise. Update 3 on the meeting. My apologies. This will be long. As I parked, a couple stopped to say hello, but most of the board didn't speak to me. My accuser, on the other hand, laughed heartily at my expense and literally mocked me in front of the others as I entered. She said, "You've come back for more? I guess you haven't had enough of me yet," and blew me a kiss. She arrived with President Olivia. I feel that's relevant, especially considering the accuser then ran home. The meeting started at 6 p.m. I wasn't allowed to sit at the table until my topic was addressed. I sat alone for over 45 minutes. Finally, someone peeked out at 6:53 p.m. and called me in. My accuser was not there. I sat down, and the first thing I was told was, "Well, we may have made a mistake," followed by a grand, flowery apology that smelled and had more gaslighting than a propane stove. "You know that when a complaint comes in, we have to investigate it?" At that moment, I exploded. I didn't even talk to my own children like that when they were babies. It was that tone you use to speak to the simplest minds. I told them there's a huge difference between investigating and directly accusing, and that I didn't appreciate their ineptitude in running a board that almost derailed the entire organization and also cast a very bad light on what we were doing. President Olivia said, "By unanimous decision, we have decided not to accept your resignation. Welcome back." I've probably been that confused before, but I don't remember when. I expected this to be much more difficult. I had a factual speech prepared and everything. I went in and it was just, "Oops, we messed up. Oh well, heh." Well, too bad they refused to accept it because it's submitted and I'm not withdrawing it. I'm leaving, and it seems you all know exactly why. To those who have written to me, I will consider your offer to lead this board, but for now, I am not comfortable with the lack of trust and transparency I'm seeing. And I left. My phone hasn't stopped exploding all night. I wanted to update immediately, but it kept ringing and vibrating. I don't even know how so many people found out. Good old gossip, I guess. But I had over 30 calls and as many messages, texts, and social media communications. So, what happened while I waited outside? My accuser decided to take something before the meeting. She literally acted like a wild animal at one point. I'm told it was so serious that 4 of the 5 women present called the police and Child Protective Services. And when she was told they had been called, my accuser ran home. That's a whole other story. The children are now safe, I'm told. At least that's good. The versions I'm hearing are surprisingly similar for once, so I'll recount the facts as they were told to me. President Olivia's husband, Mark, is apparently an addict and gets his fix from Olivia's ex-sister-in-law, Brenda, the accuser. I'm not clear on the details, but I'm told there was blackmail involved. The common word is that Brenda threatened to expose Mark's addiction. You know how it goes. You get injured, get prescribed something, get hooked, move to cheaper street drugs because they cost less, and no doctor regulates or questions your dose. There's a rumor that Mark also sleeps with Brenda, his ex-sister-in-law, but it's unconfirmed, although it's been said for over a year. Maybe I should listen to more rumors because I had no idea. The accuser started normally, though nervous. She went to the bathroom, and supposedly everything went to hell not long after she came out. At one point, she was on the floor, crawling and growling like an animal. I wish I had seen it. But at the same time, I'm glad I didn't. When the accuser left, that swung the 2 remaining votes in my favor. There was a discussion about how to handle me, in which President Olivia only said she would follow what the board decided in the vote, after they rejected the suggestion that the complaint should still be dealt with. The way she glared at me when I came in, yes, I was wearing my coat, tells me she wasn't happy about that either. The vote was unanimous for me to stay. I didn't want to stay after all that. Tomorrow they have an open board meeting to tell people what happened, as transparency is, ironically, a promise we made to the community so they know exactly who and what they are supporting. I won't go, but there will be a lot of angry and confused people. I'm glad to miss that, but I have a feeling I'll hear all about it. I'm told there will be those who will call for President Olivia's resignation. We'll see, I guess. I started this feeling worse than ever. Tonight, I'm surrounded by positivity, and I feel good about this decision. This is karma. It feels like karma. Steps are already being taken to form what we'll call DeFarm. We will collect fresh farm produce donated by local farmers and deliver it to households that need an extra hand, focusing on those living between communities and people new to rural life. Over time, I hope to offer clothes and household items, but I need to find a source outside the community so as not to take resources from the original group. I also already have a preliminary board made up of 3 of the 5 original board members. Ha. I told them they have to finish their term in the group. They do excellent work, and it's not fair to those who need them for them to just leave. Hypocritical, perhaps, but I refuse to sink the group. They still submitted their resignations because they were in shock after that last meeting. Theirs depended on mine, so their exit meetings are being scheduled for next week. Since they no longer have a secretary to record minutes, they are asking me to do it. They are also asking me to put my name forward for president if the current one agrees to resign. I haven't decided if I will yet. I feel that would look petty, and honestly, it's no longer my concern. Thanks for the encouragement. I don't know if I would have had the courage to attend if it weren't for the tremendous kindness and support I saw here. I have to shake my head, but I've received more support from strangers than from my own people. You have no idea how much this meant to me when I needed it. Thank you. Update 4. The open meeting was chaos from what I hear. President Olivia was asked to resign. She refused. Then the board resigned. The group is now being run by President Olivia and no one else. So, in essence, it's dead. You need a minimum of 3 board members to continue as a registered charity. No one, out of about 50 people, raised their hand when asked if anyone wanted to join. Farm, in comparison, has more volunteers than we can organize. This is the group that was created after you, beautiful people, helped me decide that staying wasn't worth it. I have mixed feelings about this. One, it feels good to be validated. The other, I don't like how this all unfolded for too many reasons to count. Our first task as a new organization, writing an ironclad policy that everyone agrees upon, including specific steps for collecting, submitting, and addressing complaints or concerns. Update 5. The aftermath has been interesting. The old group dissolved. Nobody wanted to work with President Olivia. After all that, they held an emergency meeting to try and understand why most of the board had resigned, and it was a disaster. President Olivia accused the remaining board members of conspiring against her, which led the last remaining members to resign eventually as well. My new board, Farm, is thriving. We've taken over collection and distribution in our area, and 2 others, as we merged with 2 other small groups to access more resources. Imagine my shock and surprise when the original offender called my treasurer Sarah and asked to be put on the list. Of course, we helped her, but we took the secretary's minivan, and all 7 of us went as a group. When we arrived, it was Olivia's ex-husband, Mark, who opened the door. Our first task was to have an ironclad board policy stating that anyone accused of misconduct will be spoken to privately by the president and vice president before anything else. Neither of them is me. I prefer to work behind the scenes. I'm hearing rumors that the former board president Olivia isn't doing well. When everything blew up, her husband Mark left her for his ex-sister-in-law Brenda, and they've been using methamphetamine ever since. Olivia has no children and is now on her own. After hearing everything that happened afterward, she had to get a job, and they are now trying to sell their house amidst the divorce. So, I guess the rumor that he was getting more than just drugs from his ex-sister-in-law Brenda was true after all. Rumors say that President Olivia is deeply in debt due to her husband's addiction. I also believe her situation was causing her enormous stress, and that's why everything happened the way it did. She knows that reflection. I think this has been a very eye-opening experience about how our personal lives can seriously affect our mood and actions. We never truly know what another person is going through, or why they behave the way they do. Addition 1. Brenda, the ex-sister-in-law, is not receiving help from our group, but I did refer her to another group that hasn't dealt with her yet, and I gave them a heads up that this person needs help but is unstable due to her current life choices. She has children who are not to blame for any of this, and who don't deserve to be left out in case she recovers. I think I forgot to mention that she temporarily lost her children due to her animalistic outburst at the meeting. I guess there were too many witnesses and too many complaints. And since she and Olivia's ex-husband, Mark, are burning money on drugs as if there's no tomorrow, it's unlikely this will be resolved anytime soon. And yes, it was confirmed that at least one of the 3 children is Mark's, possibly 2. As for President Olivia, I feel sorry for her. I truly believe all of this was a desperate control tactic because she had none in her personal life. I think I understand. My life, viewed from the outside, seems perfect. Good children, a great partner, a wonderful and fulfilling job, a decent house and car, and people seem to appreciate me. Addition 2. Regarding helping the accuser, we offered temporary one-time assistance. Our unofficial mission is, we don't deny help to anyone because we don't know their story. I also believe that many of our volunteers were curious, which is why we've been able to grow so quickly as a group. Unfortunately, I know very well that some help just for the gossip, and we haven't been operating long enough to identify them and remove them or move them to positions where they can't collect potentially damaging gossip. Her second request the following week, totaling 3 requests for clothes and food in 3 weeks between our 2 groups, was referred to another group because nobody wanted to get involved, and I'm not allowed to get involved on my own. Our bylaw to avoid drama is that once a conflict has been reported, the accused person must have no involvement in the donation or distribution of goods to the accuser. This also serves to protect our volunteers from frivolous accusations or personal vendettas. Addition 3. The accuser was once married to the brother of Olivia's husband, Mark. So, Olivia's husband, Mark, is now with his brother's ex-wife. I don't know the details, and I think I don't want to know them either. M.